All right, I'm here with my friend Jeannie. Jeannie, how you doing?
Great.
Awesome. Hey, I want to chat with you about your podcast. It's funny. I've known Jeannie a while now. And by the way, how did we first connect? Did you listen to my podcast? Is that how we connected? Walk
Yeah.
me through that.
Well, I had just gotten laid off from my corporate job as a corporate slave, just like what you talk about. And I was pretty devastated. But I understand how that works, when you're need to lay off, it was a massive layoff. It was like 500 to 600 people that
Oof.
day. But so I understood it, but my heart was broken because it was my dream job, but I was still a corporate slave. And I didn't realize after a while I got really depressed. And I Googled or actually on podcasts, I Googled motivation and yours popped up. And I was listening to your podcast, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this. Here I go. I'm gonna get emotional, but I remember laying in bed and I could hardly get out of bed. And I would listen to your podcast and for like 10 minutes, and that would motivate me to get out of bed. And
Wow.
I've told you this before, but your message alone, um, it really saved my life. Really.
Yeah.
Sorry, I get so emotional, but I mean it because that happened 6 years ago. And I look back and people ask me, well, how'd you do it? And I go back to your podcast, listen to it, every day. It got me out of bed. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I first found you. And you didn't know me. And I was just in the background listening to you every day and just listening to those motivational, you know, tips and inspiration. And you were never negative. And
Yeah.
my mindset, I would go negative, and as soon as I tuned you on or turned you on, it's like all I could hear was this positive energy over and over. Sometimes I would hit replay and listen to your podcast over and over again, depending on what it was and the topic it was. So gradually, step by step, I would get out of bed, and then eventually I didn't need you to get me out of bed. I could listen to you later on during the day to help motivate me and keep me focused.
That's awesome. Now, by the way, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Now you have your own podcast. Did you ever think back 6 years ago, you're laying in bed, did you ever think you would have your own message out there that's being downloaded all around the world?
Never, never. Mm-mm.
That's amazing.
But I
What?
knew I knew I had something inside, that I had a message, and I knew that I've been able to inspire people in my past, but I had no idea where to go with that and what to do. So no,
Yeah.
I never imagined.
Did you have any of this? Do you have any fear? Like, who's going to want to listen to me, and what do I have to say? And my gosh, I'm just Jeannie out here in Arizona. I don't have a message. Any of those thoughts go through your mind?
All the time, every day, all day. Yes. Yeah, yeah. But with you and hearing your voice, I would hear it over and over, and I had to listen to it over and over for me to understand I do have a voice and to believe in myself. And you gave me that belief just from listening to your podcast, that alone. And again, you didn't know who I was. I was out here and listening to you every day, being inspired, being motivated, feel empowered to move forward.
Yeah. Now here you are with your own podcast. So we started working together. You came inside the podcasting program, launched your show. How many downloads do you have now?
24,000 at the moment, and I'm working up to 25,000.
That's ridiculous. 24,000 on your way to 25. I mean, that's got to just give you pause to say, oh my God, like that's a big number for somebody starting with absolutely zero momentum, no social media following out there. You're not actively posting or anything like that. That is strictly organic downloads of a message, right?
Yep, no advertising. Nope. Yeah.
And what's your podcast? What's the title of it? What's it about?
Maximum Desire.
Okay. What's it about?
It is about finding that desire because you really need desire for anything you do in life. And motivation is something that comes and goes, but it's creating that habit, and it's having the habit that you do every day. But in order to create that habit, you have to have desire. And it's trying to find out what is it that you have, or what is it that you desire, and then moving forward with that desire. And so I really am focused on women, because a lot of times women, as we age, we lose the desire for intimacy and connection. with people, and we actually feel invisible. I've heard women that as we age and mature, we don't feel like we're like the social media type and the beautiful women with all the assets, so we
Yeah.
feel invisible. So that's where I come in, and to help women feel empowered again, to help transform their lives so that they are beautiful just the way they are.
I love it. I love it. And that is such a powerful message. You know, I think about from where you started, you know, to where you are now. Just a couple more questions for you. How has launching a podcast helped you personally? Like helped you grow, finding your voice? How has it helped you?
Um, it's formed my life. Um, I think that's the main word that I can describe, because it gives me meaning and it gives me purpose in life. It gives me a reason to get up every day. Just
Yeah.
like that first day when I heard you on that podcast when I couldn't get out of bed. Now I get out of bed with joy and excitement. I'm going, oh my gosh, what am I going to podcast about today? And I listen to people and I listen to conversations. And but by listening to you every day, then it motivates me to do it. And it it it's given me a reason to live, really.
Wow, that is so powerful. A reason to live. And that's the beauty of finding your voice. People are listening, 24,000 listens. I mean, that's pretty incredible, man. That's pretty incredible. And then when you joined our coaching program, you know, to launch your pod, the goal was to launch it. And really the goal even before that was to find your voice. What's your message? Because, you know, you weren't crystal clear on what that message is. And that's always a work in progress anyway, you know, but getting that off the ground, done is the new perfect, you know, just getting momentum. What's the support been like since you've been in our podcasting program?
Oh, it's been off the charts. I've I in the past I've had very poor advice. I had an individual that was helping me transfer into public speaking and said to stop my podcast, and I was absolutely shocked because that's my life. That's just the heart of what I do. I would rather podcast than do public speaking
Yeah.
because you can provide so much information to someone, and so it with the support, it's not just launching a podcast, it's having the support to keep going, because just because you get going and you have one episode out there, and I see people quitting right at that point,
Yeah.
that support is off the charts. And when I feel stuck, I reach out to you, and right away you got this such positive energy that it's like, wow, why did I even get stuck after talking to Sam? Because it was like, well, that was a no-brainer. I just got to keep going. So
Yeah.
there's that support just to even keep going, let alone all the technical and the other areas that you need support in when you get stuck. But I
Yeah.
think most of all, just knowing you're not out there on an island all by yourself, because when you podcast, it's just you and the microphone. If you're doing solo, and you do feel alone, but with you and the support, oh, I don't feel alone at all. It's like a team effort.
Yeah, I love it. And we love having you in the group. I mean, that's what we're here for. Support and accountability is huge. I don't know how you would ever have success without those two components. A group to help inspire, to motivate, to energize you, to love you, and to hold you accountable to getting it done, you know, and to getting the results. So last question. There's a Jeannie Morm somewhere in the world right now who's thinking, should I launch a podcast? And then should I really hire this guy Crowley, Sam Crowley? Should I really join his podcast coaching? What would you say?
You can't afford not to, because I lost a lot of money before I found you. And so I would really suggest anybody, don't stop looking on the internet, stop looking at all these um, podcast gurus, and just go with you. You're going to save tons of money, a ton of time, and you're going to get the job done right away. I mean, let me give you an example. I had someone reach out to me that wanted to produce my podcast, and so I asked them to send me a proposal. And while I was waiting, which I waited for 2 weeks to get that proposal back, I had reached out to you in the meantime. And within that 2 weeks, just working with you, you had helped me put the whole entire podcast together, helped me find my voice and my title and my message. And I already had 3 episodes put out there on iTunes and Spotify by the time they got back to me in 2 weeks. So I'm telling you something, you get it done, and you get it done right away. And I would suggest your working with you is for people that really want to do it and get it done now. The people on the fence, you have to want to do it because
Yep.
you hold them accountable. And if you're not ready yet, I would wait because you're going to be frustrated. So those of you that for those people that really want to get going, now is the time and do it now. Don't wait,
Yeah.
because I look back now and go, why didn't I start with you a long time ago when I first knew about you 6 years ago? But that's
Yeah.
okay. I learned a lot in the meantime.
Okay. I mean, the timing's always, it's the right timing. It happened when it happened, you know? So now you've got your, the Jeannie, the host of the Maximum Desire podcast, 24,000 downloads. I mean, that's just incredible to see where you've started to where you are right now. And you've only just scratched the surface. I mean, that's where we're at right now, Jeannie. So, hey, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And anybody that wants to listen to Jeannie's podcast on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you download podcasts, just check it out, Maximum Desire. You'll find it very easily and be inspired by what she has to say as well. All right, Jeannie, have an amazing day. I'll see you soon. I know that.
Thank you.